Italy fought alongside Germany, then switched sides and started fighting Germany instead. Mid-war, against their former allies, while the war was still happening. So what went so catastrophically wrong that switching sides felt like the better option? It started with a decision that looked smart at the time. June 1940. France had just collapsed in 6 weeks. Germany looked completely unstoppable. Mussolini, Italy's dictator, had been watching from the sidelines and decided this was his moment. The war was basically over. Germany had won. All Mussolini had to do was show up, grab some territory, and collect his share of the spoils. He declared war on France and Britain on the 10th of June 1940. France surrendered 11 days later. Mussolini got almost nothing from the peace deal. A small strip of French territory near the border. That was it. Not exactly the Roman Empire he'd been promising his people. But fine, the real prizes were still out there. Africa, the Mediterranean, Greece. There was still a war to exploit, and then Italy started actually fighting it. The problems began almost immediately. In September 1940, Italian forces invaded Egypt from their colony in Libya. Egypt was controlled by Britain. Mussolini was convinced it would fall quickly. Instead, a British force less than a third the size of the Italian army launched a counterattack in December and completely destroyed it. In 2 months, Britain had captured 130,000 Italian prisoners, 400 tanks, 1,290 artillery pieces, while suffering fewer than 2,000 casualties themselves. One of the most lopsided defeats in modern military history. Germany had to send Rommel and the Afrika Korps to save the situation. Meanwhile, in October 1940, Mussolini decided to invade Greece. He didn't tell Hitler first. He wanted his own conquest, independent of Germany, his own victory to point to. The Greek army pushed Italy back into Albania within weeks. Italy, a major European power, was being driven backwards by a country a fraction of its size, with a fraction of its resources. Germany had to intervene in Greece, too. Then Yugoslavia, then Crete. A pattern was forming very quickly. Italy started the fights. Germany finished them. By 1941, Italian forces were fighting across 3 continents: North Africa, East Africa, and the Soviet Union, where Mussolini sent 230,000 troops to help Germany, despite having almost no equipment suitable for that kind of warfare. The Italian army on the Eastern Front had almost no anti-tank weapons, no winter clothing, trucks that stopped working in cold weather. When the Soviet counteroffensive came in late 1942, the Italian front simply collapsed. In days, 100,000 Italian soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured. By early 1943, Italy had lost its entire East African empire. Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, gone, taken by British and Commonwealth forces. Most of its navy was gone. Most of its air force was gone. 3 separate fronts, 3 separate catastrophes. The economy was collapsing. Food was scarce. Allied bombing raids were hitting Italian cities regularly, and Mussolini kept going. In July 1943, the Allies invaded Sicily. The island was supposed to be defended. It wasn't. Within weeks, the Allies controlled it entirely. For Italy's military and political establishment, this was the final proof. The war was lost, and Mussolini was dragging Italy toward complete destruction. On the 25th of July, 1943, the Grand Council of Fascism, Mussolini's own governing body, his own people, voted to remove him from power. The King of Italy had him arrested the same day. Mussolini was driven away in an ambulance and imprisoned. His own government had just got rid of him. Italy's new government was led by Marshal Badoglio. Publicly, he announced Italy would keep fighting alongside Germany. Privately, he immediately began secret negotiations with the Allies. For 45 days, Italy kept fighting Germany's war, while secretly agreeing terms to betray them. The Allies announced the armistice on the 8th of September, 1943. Germany's response was immediate. They had suspected something was coming. Within hours, German forces disarmed the Italian military across the entire country. German troops occupied Rome. The Italian army, which hadn't been told what was happening until the last moment, fell apart in confusion. Most soldiers went home. Others were captured by Germany and sent to labor camps. Italy was now occupied by the country it had just betrayed. The king and Badoglio fled south to Allied-controlled territory. Italy officially declared war on Germany on the 13th of October 1943. Italian partisans began fighting German occupation forces throughout the country. The country was now simultaneously liberated territory in the south, occupied territory in the north, and an active battlefield in the middle. The Germans rescued Mussolini from his mountain prison in September 1943 and set him up as the puppet leader of a German-controlled state in northern Italy. He spent the last 2 years of his life running a government that controlled nothing and commanded nobody, entirely dependent on German soldiers to exist. He was captured by Italian partisans in April 1945 while trying to flee to Switzerland, and shot. So why did Italy switch sides? Because the military disasters hadn't just lost territory. They had destroyed the political argument for continuing. Every defeat needed German help. Every German rescue came with strings. Every string made Italy less of an ally and more of a liability. By 1943, Germany wasn't fighting alongside Italy anymore. Germany was fighting Italy's war for them. Switching sides wasn't really a betrayal. It was the only move left for a country that had already lost and just hadn't admitted it yet.